Hi everybody, my name's Stephen Wieman and I am in Professor Kimber's class and I'm here to talk about my professional disposition as a teacher. So there's three questions that we were given. The first one was, what dispositions do you possess that make you a successful teacher? First of all, I truly believe that all students can learn, and I try my absolute best to make sure that every one of my students has equal access to the content. Um, I also care very deeply about all of my students, and I work hard to develop those positive relationships with them on a one-on-one basis and also as a group. Um, and I also promote equality and social justice within my room, as well as talking about real life issues because I believe that at the end of the day, it is my job to prepare them for real life. And so I like to, in my history classes, incorporate things that are happening now or relate things like the Civil War to current movements that are going on in America, just so they can kind of understand where they're coming from and not the the event that's happening currently is not just coming out of the blue. There's a background and a history to it, and it's important for them to understand. The second question that I was asked is, what positions as a dispositions as an educator do you need to work on? I try very hard to work on this every single day, but sometimes it's hard to remember that my students have lives outside of the classroom just like I do. And although one of my strengths is building a relationship, sometimes when a student acts up in class or they're not turning in their work, I get really frustrated at the child themselves. But I really have to remember that they might have some sort of external problem or pressure that's happening in their lives that's actually making it harder for them to do the assignment, or it's making them feel emotional about something. It's I always get to that point where I remember that, but sometimes spur of the moment when I have a student that is not doing well in the class or they just are acting up, sometimes I take it personally or I get upset in that moment, and I kind of have to take a minute to step back and be like, well, you know what? I know that they're going through blank, blank, and blank at home. I know that their grandma is because they told me the other day their grandma was in the hospital. They were probably doing that. It might not be something that's personal to me. They might not be attacking me or hate my class or something like that. It might be something that they literally cannot control. And especially as 12, 13, 11-year olds, they don't have as much control over their lives as a college student and something like that. So they're very much so dependent on their parents and that schedule. And if their home life is not good, I can't be making that personal towards them. So I always get there, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, I forget about that and I get frustrated that they're not doing their work, or maybe they're acting up in class, and I really need to take a step back and take them aside and talk about it and make sure that they understand that I am here for them and all that thing. But that is something I do need to work on, so I don't do it spur of the moment. And the last question is, what does a professional educator look like, and how do they behave? What standards guide their thinking and actions? Well, I said that a professional educator is a lifelong learner. They are never content with going through the motions, and it is important to continue to work to improve ourselves and our craft, our teaching craft. If we as a teacher do not get excited about learning and about education and about our subjects, then and we don't work hard, then how can we expect our students to work hard? We have to be a mirror and model what we want our students to do. We have to be excited about our subject, passionate about our subject, and we have to show that we are willing to work hard so that we can expect them to work hard. I also think that professional educators also need to believe that all students can learn. If you don't think all students can learn, then you need to get out of the classroom, because that's not fair to the students if you are nitpicking or saying, oh, well, this person can learn and this person can't. That's not fair. That's not for you to decide. You are not their judge and their jury. You have to do all that you can to make sure that all of your students are learning, because they are all capable. And lastly, I think that we need to create an environment in our classrooms that is high expectations, but also with high support. Because oftentimes, I think that it's important to challenge the students so that they, really learn something and they really experience, that need to actually go study or, really push themselves. Because if they're not pushing themselves, they're not learning. So high expectations, because I know that they can do it, but also give them high support. So I am helping them, making sure that they're getting the resources. I'm not just saying, here's a 15-page essay, go do it. I'm showing them the steps, I'm showing them how to be successful, giving them tips, and I'm giving them all the resources and support they need, but I'm also expecting it to be good. I don't want bad work, and I want them to rise to the occasion, because I know they can, because again, all students can learn, and I truly, truly believe that. So thank you all for listening to my professional disposition video, and I appreciate it, and see you guys all later.